off, and we're going to the whistle blows. And now let's set today's lineup card. Donnie Moore will report on the latest high school basketball scores involving Blount County high school teams, and we'll follow up with some national sports stories. Marcus Fitzsimmons and Caleb Giroux will be on board to update us on what's happening in local high school sports. Marcus will present his feature Mark It Down and the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week segments. Ex-GoTeez Sports Page regular Troy Provo Heron will join Marcus and Caleb. Maryville High School football is on the agenda. I'll talk some Tennessee basketball with former Maryville High School basketball coach Rodney Nelson, and our panel will set the stage for today's first-round game of the college football playoffs, and we'll throw in some UT football. The Let Her Rip segment is set to go, so let's break the huddle and dive right in. Merry Christmas to all of you on a wintry, cold Indiana Saturday morning.
That means it's summertime in Indiana right now.
You bet.
Luckily, we got enough of us in here to stay warm.
I don't know.
We got a full house here.
I don't know why all of you are dressed so warmly. I just it's perfect out there this morning. Huh?
I did it just in case.
Yeah. Well, good to be here.
Yeah. Troy, good to see you this morning.
Good to see you.
Huh? Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm ripping. I'm ripping.
What I do?
Oklahoma.
I'm ripping Diego.
Oh yes.
Diego Pavia.
Pavia.
About time somebody did.
Yeah, really.
Hey, last Saturday the Heisman Trophy was presented to Fernando Mendoza of Indiana University. It was the first time in the history of Indiana football that a player had received the award. Mendoza was very humble in accepting the award and thanked his family, coach, and players for their role in its success. He displayed all the attributes, emotions, and compassion you would expect from someone receiving such a high honor. And then there was Heisman runner-up Diego Pavia, who embarrassed himself, his family, his school, his coach, and the SEC by blasting the people who did the voting, thinking he should have been the Heisman winner. Well, Diego, after showing your true colors, I believe the choice of Fernando Mendoza was even more than the right choice. And for you listeners out there, Mendoza had 2,362 first-place votes. Pavia 1,435 second place. Jeremiah Love 719 and saying up at Ohio State with 432 points. Tony Iruli, what was this guy thinking?
Well, he was thinking, hey, what's the best way for me to become an idiot? And that's what he did. All right.
He succeeded.
Yeah, he did a very good job. And if I would vote, I would vote for him because I mean he was an exciting player. He brought life in Vanderbilt. I enjoyed watching him play. Right now, the first time that he gets blindsided, I'll be cheering for that. All right, because I think the guy really showed his true colors, and he was an embarrassment on a lot of different levels. And it was totally uncalled for what he said and all that. And so he's a punk. Yeah. And so I don't care for punks. So
you can only have one Johnny Manziel in a 30-year period.
Yeah.
That's the second one.
Well, he wanted to be Johnny Manziel or like him. Well, he's achieved that.
He's put himself. Yeah. He's got a huge target. It's broader than his back right now, and he's tried to walk it back and apologize. But once the words are out, they're out.
It's tough.
There is one.
Troy, where does this put him in the if he doesn't get another year back in the courts? Where does this put him in the pros?
I will
it hurt Manziel, I think, to a certain extent.
I will say there is one big difference between Manziel and Pavia. Manziel played well enough to be the hands-down Heisman winner. Yeah. Diego didn't. Two, I don't know that Diego Pavia was ever really going to have that much pro success. I mean, he's short.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason he lives in the courtroom.
Yeah, there's I don't know he was ever going to be anything more than maybe and granted, Shadur Sanders has kind of had a decent run here the last couple weeks, but I don't think he was ever going to be more than that 4th, 5th round pick guy that maybe gets a shot at some point.
Yeah, I agree with Troy. I mean, that's the reason why he went to court, because really he's making more money staying in college
than he will when he leaves.
Yeah. And
last week we talked about the great run Indiana had. Beating Ohio State, win the Big Ten title for the first time in, I guess, since 1967.
Yeah.
And that was kind of overshadowed by all the controversy that took place in the committee, picking the teams for the college football playoffs. And now we've got Fernando Mendoza, great year that he had up there, and what a quality act he is. And now this was kind of overshadowed with what Diaco said. So
Pavia needs to go to the CFL and try to be Warren Moon and show he can do it up there. And, Warren Moon made a career up there and then came back and Houston. And maybe by then maturity and some of the edges will be worn off by some blindside hits.
I don't know if there's enough Instagram followers in the CFL to go around. But I think, I don't know. I think the ReliaQuest Bowl will probably be his last hoorah. Because to Troy's point, he might get a practice squad invite, or an NFL team might make him a gadget player where he'll end up catching or running the ball more than throwing it. But I don't see a world where he's an everyday NFL quarterback just because of his size and his skill set.
He's also he's not
like
some elite passer.
Yeah, no. I think an NFL team is going to deal with a guy like that. That's a backup guy.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so he's not going to make a roster. I don't believe.
Coach Iruli, Fernando Mendoza has won the Heisman.
Yep.
Indiana has won the Big Ten championship.
I thought for sure after those two things
Signetti,
happened.
Signetti has won the AP Coach of the Year award for the second straight year, and now they're in the playoffs for the second year. And
who's at this table from Indiana?
Pardon?
Who's at this table from Indiana? Throw your name in there too.
Only one.
Yeah. Well, I was around when they went to the Rose Bowl in 1967. And I think they tied for the Big Ten championship that year and went out to the Rose Bowl and got beat by Southern California pretty handedly.
Yeah.
And then the next year, I think they won 2 games. They got right back to where they were before they went to the Rose Bowl.
Tony, and here's the thing.
So I mean, it's just been. It's almost an unbelievable story up there. I mean, this is a deal where if you've been up there and you've lived it for. I've been on this earth for 75 years or whatever, and I've followed Indiana football for probably 68 of those years at least. And I'm telling you, 65 of those 68 years have been pretty bad years. Let's put it that way. So this is just a really good feeling story. I don't know how they're going to do in the playoffs. I think they got all of the attributes. Their secondary's good, their defense is good, and you got the Heisman Trophy quarterback. I mean, they got a lot of strengths and not very many weaknesses, and he's done that by bringing in through the transfer portal, and that's been one of the big things that's helped Indiana is the fact that he's gone to the transfer portal and built that program up there. Without the transfer portal, they probably wouldn't be where they're at today. Yeah. So Troy, what do you got?
But Tony,
a lot of teams wouldn't.
That's exactly right.
I don't want to rain on Mike's Indiana parade because I know that he is a very proud member of Indiana, but I will say, as having known Mike for a long time, the team that he mostly ties his flag to from Indiana is the one that wears gold helmets, and they've been doing nothing but crying for 2 weeks. So,
they've got every right. They got every right to cry because they're playing the best football in the country.
That's right.
Without being in the playoffs.
Yeah, against like.
And I know what the rules. I'm sorry you weren't here last week. We had a really heated
discussion
about all
so he's
this,
stirring it all up there.
But
all right, thanks for showing up.
You got 2 teams that don't need to be there, and you got probably 2 teams that should have been there, and the ACC messed everything up. You got Miami right there that they got chosen over Notre Dame
because they beat them.
I can't argue with that too much because Miami was playing great football, but they didn't win the ACC, and Notre Dame basically won the ACC. They were 6-0 in the ACC because they play a lot of ACC.
6-1.
They were undefeated, undefeated in the
6-1.
ACC, and Miami lost to 2 thugs.
Hold on. They can't be 6-0 in the SEC if they lost to Miami. Miami's in the ACC. They lost to Miami.
They lost
5-1.
Yeah,
go 5-1.
Yes.
5-1.
Just wanted to do clarification here.
You should go into politics.
That's still better than Miami. They lost twice.
That's right. and me being a good Catholic as I am, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. All right, there'll be retribution somewhere down the line. I guarantee you that.
Well, I don't know that there's anybody in the
Ball
country
State
besides
Teachers College
Troy
every week.
that may not believe that Notre Dame and maybe even Texas or outside Vanderbilt probably shouldn't be in these playoffs today.
Well,
but
people said the same thing about Alabama, and they looked all right last night.
Yeah, well, they didn't look very good the first half. In fact,
That's all that matters.
we're going to talk a little bit more about that a little bit later.
Matters how you finish, Mike.
I understand all of that.
Right now, Rodney's sitting here saying, "What the heck?"
I'm just saying you've got 2 teams in it because the courts. They would be killed in antitrust if they didn't let those non-Power 4 conferences have a chance. I mean, that's the courts again.
Yep.
And I don't know, one day we may have a 35-year-old Gipper. I'm sorry to bring up a player from Notre Dame's past who was 26. But anyway.
Was he 26?
Well, that was the rumor.
Okay.
But, it's I wish the courts would stay out of it and let them make the rules. And I agree with you, Mike. I really feel like Notre Dame definitely should have been in. But Tulane and James Madison have to have a place at the table.
Yeah, according to the rules.
According
to the rules. But as I said last week, there's no rules.
There are no rules.
There's no rules being followed in this country. So why did we even do? Why did we even go this way? That was my big point. Just go ahead and do it the way it should have been done and let it go. But
I think the only thing we were missing last night is a Group of 5 team on the field. Truthfully.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to those two teams that are in today because they earned their way to be in there according to the rules.
Yeah.
You can argue about it all you want to argue about it, but that's the way it's set up, and that's the way it is. But
and you know what would really throw it all off is if for some reason one of those two teams would end up winning.
Yeah.
One of those games when they're being said he shouldn't be there.
That
would throw everything off.
Yeah, it would throw everything off because that could happen. But on the other hand, you would like to have 12 teams in there that have a chance of winning the national championship, not somebody that's just maybe upset somebody.
You're saying the Dukes don't have a chance to win the national championship?
I know.
Anything's possible, Mike.
What?
You just don't think the Dukes have a chance to win the national championship?
No, I do not. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately for the Dukes,
and I've already got a deal here this morning all lined up. If they win, I'm going to wear a James Madison sweatshirt.
There you go. I feel like you could do
I'll
more.
even wear a James Madison hat.
I know somebody who works at James Madison. I could get you the mascot. The mascot costume. Can we do that? You
After
do that?
the
We'll
first
do that.
quarter tonight, I'm going to go fix me a sandwich and a Coke and not worry about wearing that sweatshirt. Okay.
But the real James Madison, he was only like 5'4".
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a real small.
We'll get you a powdered wig.
Yeah, it'll be a undersized. It'll be a extra small.
I want to remind everybody that when I was at Emory and Henry College coaching basketball, that the first game when I was there my first year was Emory and Henry going up to James Madison to play. And I want you to know that the Wasps went up there and beat James Madison.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
I don't know that will be discussed on television today, but it is being discussed on the sports. Hey, Rodney Nelson, good to see you here this morning. Let's get off of this. Let's get off of this old subject and let's talk about some UT basketball. And I know that you traveled out to Las Vegas to watch the Vols play out there. And I guess my first question is, how much money did you win?
Only left $30. We know our limits, but you just got to know where your strength is, and pushing that button's not one. And so we did $30, and then we went on and did other good things.
Yeah,
I was in Vegas the weekend before Tennessee was there, and I lost considerably more.
Well,
I was going to say, I'm sure Troy would $30 is just Wednesday for
happens.
Troy.
Those buttons are magnetic, but we watched a lot of basketball. We stayed for 2 days, not only watching Tennessee but the other games. It was a lot of fun, and we won tickets to a Sammy Hagar concert because we happened to be sitting in the correct seat, 10 rows back from Tennessee's bench, and I don't know that we'll go, but maybe some people are interested in Sammy Hagar at the Sphere, and you can look me up.
Yeah. Thus far, what's your impressions of this Tennessee basketball team up to this point of the season? They've got 3 losses. They lost 3 in a row and seemed to get back on track the other night against a good Louisville team. That's a good resume builder. But
what stands out to me is those 3 losses all have one thing in characteristic, and that's Ament and Gillespie scored fewer points than they took shots. And the post shots basically kind of ended up about the same throughout the year. I'm looking at those 6 games starting with Rutgers, and the posts are averaging about 17, 18 shots a game, and they're scoring at a pretty good clip, 1.36 efficiency versus, and I'm just mentioning Gillespie and Ament because they're averaging over 30 minutes a game, and they're at 1.14. But when they are at their best is when the posts are effective. And we all know those guys drive and throw it up and lob it, and I'm not really counting that. I'm talking about you feed the post from your regular offense, And that creates that nice open
Yeah,
look. Eamon has a solid shot, but when he has to rush the three, it's not very good.
Yeah,
I mean,
not accurate.
He's 30%. And we know what Gillespie can do. I mean, Gillespie against Louisville, it's a perfect game. 12 shots, got 20-something points. And I feel like when Ament and Gillespie are somewhere between 10 and 13 shots each, Tennessee's chances improve. And then my second narrative is I think Coach Barnes has to play deep throughout the game to keep the defensive pressure. Because without the defensive pressure, they really get abused. Their lateral quickness is not what it was last year. And we ran into the Meshack family out there, and my wife, she knows them. She ran in and got a picture of him, and Jamal, you know, but you get those two, Zakai and he.
Yeah.
I mean, side to side, they were really good. And in my view, the only guy I see with two guys that really have the good side to side for Tennessee are the Abrams kid off the bench and Bosworth. Gillespie's really downhill quick. But
where is this basketball team compared to some of the other teams that Coach Barnes has had? I understand in the last recent years is that he has had these transfer kids come in here, and it does take time for everybody to mesh and to get into the system and so forth. But how do you compare this squad right now at this stage with some of the other teams he's had?
Well, 6'7" and 6'4" wings that can create a long three and make them versus a 6-foot point guard. And Gillespie has those moments, but that's the difference to me. They're just that one element. You know, I think a lot of folks were thinking, Ament, he's going to come in there and be that guy, Cooper Flagg, but he's good.
Yeah,
and he's going to keep getting better. But right now, I don't see the 6'7", 6'4" who can just rise up and drill it over someone. But I don't know if they need that. If they go inside out, I mean, Estrella, you know, as he gets healthier, he's shooting 71%.
Mm-hmm.
And,
nice.
you know, feed the horse there, feed the dog or what the beast, you know. And then Carey obviously is gaining confidence. So I think they have to be more of an inside-out team. And honestly, I believe that's where Barnes' comfort zone is more than anything.
Yeah, that's basically what his teams have been prior to Dalton. Prior to Dalton.
I think here early, a couple things that I've noticed, turnovers. You know, there's been a couple of games where they've been over 20 turnovers, and I think a lot of that has been because of a little bit of impatience on the offense. You know, he's had teams in the past with good personnel that have come down there and milked that shot clock, you know, down to 10 seconds or below and work that other team's defense where they're really having to play defense, and then goes down at the other end and makes them work on offense. And I think in some of these early games they've been a little quick with the trigger on their shots, and you mentioned Ament, you know, maybe getting a little impatient and putting some shots up there. Your feelings on maybe that? Yeah,
well, when we were in Vegas watching it, the Houston team was a great matchup for them because both teams like to flow, you know, and it's up and down, so you get those penetration lanes. Then you got into Kansas and Syracuse and Illinois, and they start locking you up in the last 10, 12 minutes, and you're still trying to penetrate, and you're going to have those costly turnovers. And I think you're spot on, Mike. When they keep turnovers at 12 or less, their offensive efficiency just goes way up. And but I think another thing, and I've said, they need 9 guys with double minutes in a game to keep the defensive pressure on other teams.
I'll tell you, you turn the ball over 20 times like they did in a couple of ball games, and even if you shoot really well, you're going to have people coming away and saying, you know, they didn't look very good last night.
That's true.
Even though they shoot 45% or 46% or whatever. I want to talk a little bit about playmaking and Zakai Ziegler last year, with the fact that he kind of was the leader and kind of kept everybody in place. And do they have that type of guy this year? Or do they? You mentioned maybe they don't need him. I don't know, but they sure needed Zakai last year, or when he was here over the period of time he was able to play.
Zakai had played here 16 years.
Felt like.
And he
is
knew
now a multi-millionaire.
Yes, and he knew exactly what Barnes wanted.
Right.
And Gillespie is having to learn that. And he's a heck of a player, heck of an athlete. And you know, there's times when I'd like to see him just dish it and become the wingman and let Bosworth be the point. But I think as they keep going on, Gillespie's getting a better feel for it. But it's hard to replace Zakai Ziegler with the guy out of the portal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Talk about free throws. They have struggled at the free throw line a little bit.
Well, don't
not a
talk
little
about
bit, quite a bit.
Don't talk about it then.
And it's the same old listen, it's the same old Barnes
Move
team.
on.
He's gonna take the game to you inside, and he's gonna challenge you. And when he does that, he goes to the free throw line.
Yeah.
His teams go to the free throw line.
A lot.
And against Louisville, 18 for 28, the free throw line, and we've seen those nights here early where they just haven't shot it well.
Well, and that's the one disadvantage. Well, Estrella shot the free throws well. Carey's been up and down, and Okpara, he got off to a hot start, and then he kind of faded out. But, ultimately your postmen, you would like to see them average, I would think, between 72 and 76% from the line, so that they're a threat that people just can't do hack-a-shack. But what's really surprising when the guards get up there, and it's been a struggle. But, nice thing is the goal's still 10 foot high. They still got plenty of basketballs aired up. There's practice, and maybe they'll turn that corner. But that's a key. They've got to improve that, because if you're going to go inside,
you're going to be fouled.
You've got to get points at the line. You got to get freebies.
Yeah. Against Louisville the other night, I thought it was just a solid Rick Barnes basketball game. I mean, if you look at the statistics, points in the paint, 42 points in the paint, 34 points off the bench, 21 points off the turnovers, and you only turn it over 10 points yourself. Yeah. I mean, that's what he wants. And he was pretty well pleased after the game. He should be, because that's exactly the way he wants them playing.
Yeah. And he had 8 guys with double-figure minutes, and he had 2 that were 9. And he's using those guys. And Amari Evans came in and earned his 5 fouls. And I think that's, Berg, Evans, and Henderson coming off the bench, play hard defense, keep the pressure on the other team, kind of wear them down. Then you rotate your main minute guys back. But, in the past, what's been Coach Barnes' model? He gets in the second half, he gets under 15 minutes, and you kind of see a lot of the same guys out there.
Yeah, you do.
And that can wear you down. They got to stay consistent with deep rotations.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I look at Louisville the other night. They were 7 for 34 from three-point range. My gosh, that's almost just throwing them up there with your eyes shut. Pretty much. And free throws, 11 for 18.
Yeah.
I mean, evidently they didn't like the background in the arena or something. That was absolutely horrendous.
My girls went 1 for 8 on Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh. You tell them to stop throwing them up, Troy?
Yeah.
Felt like they were.
Well, here's what I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask Coach Edwards. Would you have liked to have gotten the opportunity to be at the three-point line like Louisville was putting it up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have put it up more than 34 times.
Yeah.
But
and
personally.
Heck with the team and talk about himself.
You don't get the gunner nickname unless you're going to shoot. So.
I get upset on watching these games sometimes where, these kids will, they'll pass up a 3 and a good shot to take a bad shot.
Yeah.
To put the ball on the floor and take a bad shot.
Yeah.
I get a little frustrated with that, at times. But, the three-point shots change the game. In fact, I would like to see him go back another 2 feet, 2.5 feet, and put in a 4-point shot.
Spread the floor.
Bring the game out even a little bit further from the basket.
I would like to see the court widened by 2 feet, 1 foot on each side.
Yeah.
And if you really want to make it interesting, 1.5 foot on one side and 6 inches on the other.
Yeah.
But, it's you got a lot of mid-court screens now, and everybody kind of looks the same, except, Tennessee. They run that. They call it floppy series.
Yeah.
And I used to call it, low post.
Yeah. The only thing
run guys off low post screens.
The only thing I don't like about today's game compared to when I played is the fact that they do a lot of substituting. And in my day, you played the whole game.
Yeah.
I played the whole game. We didn't have all the timeouts, and most teams weren't deep. Most teams played 6 or 7 teams, even Kentucky and the better teams.
Sure.
There wasn't all this 10 deep stuff, substituting, play 5 minutes, coach coming on off the game in the radio broadcast and saying, well, we got 28 minutes out of Joe last night. Or 28 minutes or 27 out of Bill. We really got a lot of minutes out. It was 40 minutes.
Right.
Unless you were in foul trouble, it was 40 minutes. And I like that. I like that. It would be hard. For me, it would be hard to play 5, 6, 7 minutes, come out, sit down, go back in the game, and all the TV timeouts. I don't know where shooters and teams that are offensive oriented, get in the flow. I think it can really take you out of the flow today.
Well, the officials sure don't help either.
No.
Well, it's a different type of physical game than when you and I played, and you're guarding out past 30 feet because a good shooter, that's a good shot.
Yeah.
In our day,
Go to the bench.
the first 30-footer you took that it hadn't hit maybe, except in your case. And, in my high school coach, we ran a break and, 2 steps past the half line because our court was a little shorter. I knew boom, boom, and you're ready to go, but no three-point line.
Yeah.
And so your defenses, I don't think, extended out as much. So, I don't know, wear and tear. And plus, you guys get up and leave and say, I'm done after a year. I'm going over here, and you got to play them some.
Yeah, the three-pointer in my day was just a momentum builder. I mean, it was like, it got the crowd more in the game. If he had a range shooter that could shoot the ball from 25 or 30 feet out there, and he could hit those with some accuracy, then it brought the crowd more into the game. That shot really built your momentum and it could turn a game.
Absolutely.
Whereas to now it's a 3-point shot, and it's really not all that big a deal because it's not nearly as long out there as it was. When I played. I don't think, but,
I want to brag on one thing. First of all, this was my college, not teammate, but we went to Maryville College at the same time, Rodney and I, and this guy was an absolute star on the basketball team. I mean, he was a great outside shooter. Now, he had some long locks back in those days. In fact, I still got pictures of those.
Long hair and short shorts.
Oh,
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's right. Well, you looked a lot better in that outfit than I would have been.
Yeah, I coached. I coached against Rodney when I was up at Emory and Henry, and we played some good games. I never won. We won up there at the time, but down here at Maryville, we never won. Kenny Cobble, it's on this show quite a bit. I'd come down here, and Kenny would always be calling the games. I thought that was really unusual that we got the same official because I didn't know Kenny all that well. And then later on, when I worked with Kenny at the bank, he'd come in. He came in one morning and goes, well, we won another one up at the college last night where he had called another game up there, and I'm going, well, that figures. While I never won when I came down here, it looks like nobody else wins either.
Well, that's why he was making a deposit at the bank.
Yeah.
The check cleared.
Boy, he'd have big smile. Boy, we won another one last night. It was close right there at the end, but we won her.
Go Fighting Scots, we won again.
Well, Kenny had a short drive, so you got to short drives are important.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Tony, for that shout out.
Yeah.
No
I
problem,
appreciate
brother.
it.
Yeah. Rodney, stick around because we're going to talk a little bit more about the league here later on. So we'll get back into some more basketball. So,
Sounds
we'll
good.
take a break here, and we'll be back, and Donnie Morrill will provide some high school basketball scores from around the area, and veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons and his crew will be in with his feature Mark It Down. You're listening to the GoTeez sports page, Blount County Sports Voice, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Welcome to the GoTeez sports page.
And that's
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month. Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years.
From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925.
To the GoTeez Sports page, Donnie Moore, they playing any high school basketball, or are they waiting on Santa Claus?
Well, there are some teams who are playing in some holiday classics and tournaments around here right now. I don't think the regular season's been kind of suspended for a little while, but we're getting there.
Well,
we're sure getting there.
Catch us up, buddy.
You got it. I'll do it. Let's move on to our Mandy B Street Realty Local Focus, sponsored, of course, by our friends at Mandy B Street Realty. Always good to have them around. They're very knowledgeable, can sell or buy property with the best of them. So thank you to Mandy B Street Realty. Yesterday there were several games, and then there's one Thursday that I want us to go over with you. Alcoa versus Sevier County in girls, who I'm talking about. Alcoa took one on the chin, 56-25. But Sevier County's always had a good girls basketball team.
Alcoa's dealing with injury and sickness, so I don't think they've been full strength for probably 2 or 3 weeks now.
Yeah, you're right. And then in the boys contest, they played Catholic instead of Sevier County. They're playing in a classic, I imagine, up there. But they played Catholic, and Catholic won that one 79-68. So Alcoa boys took one on the chin too.
I thought Alcoa won in overtime, Donnie.
Did they? Well, that was according to my source. If you got a better source than me,
check the Daily Times.
Check that.
Check the Daily Times. You know
81-77.
81-77.
Alcoa in
overtime. Okay.
Jay Kirk, who recently picked up a Maryville College offer, with 34 points in that one.
Wow. I stand corrected.
You got to be careful with the misinformation.
My source, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, we got to be careful with misinformation now, you
know. Eagleton and playing Seymour in a boys contest, and Seymour ran away with this one 72-40. Yeah. And then Cosby played Seymour girls earlier in the evening, and Cosby wins by 11, 53-42. So Eagleton, well, Seymour won, got beat twice last night. Greenback at Oakdale moving on. I have a girls score on that one. I could not find a boys score, but Oakdale beats Greenback 67-20 last night. Whew. Yeah.
67-20.
67-20. Yeah. Probably Heritage is still having their classic.
The girls are doing a Christmas tournament, but the boys are in the Hammers Classic with Alcoa and them.
Okay. So Heritage played Raceland, Kentucky. Raceland, Raceland.
Where's that at?
I don't know.
Near Louisville, it's got to be.
Near Raceland?
Yeah, it should be.
Sounds about right.
Raceland, Kentucky.
There you go.
And the Lady Mountaineers had no trouble with Raceland. The Raceland Racers didn't get out. They didn't get out of the gate right there.
Hey, maybe it was that game almost tipped off at 9 p.m. last night.
Oh, my goodness.
Maybe they're a little tired. I don't know.
Yeah, they probably were. But Heritage wins this, and the Lady Mountaineers win this one 71-46. And the boys played Fulton in their tournament, and Heritage wins another one 55-51
on Fulton's home court too.
Yeah, so they're doing well this year. Maryville versus Knox Catholic and in the girls, and Tri-Cities Christian for the boys. playing different teams right here. That's kind of hard to get used to. But Maryville wins the twin bill. The girls win 51-44 against Catholic. And against Tri-Cities Christian, the boys dominated 87-66.
Man, I don't know. They beat the Christians and the Catholics. I mean, that.
The Maryville.
I might need to read the Bible a little bit tonight.
Yeah,
the Maryville girls are doing off to a great start this season. Their best start since 2020.
Yeah.
And they picked up some big wins, especially over, Catholic got invited to a tournament in Nashville. That's the best teams in Tennessee coming up. And Maryville beat them on their home on Maryville's home floor.
Sure
so
did.
It's a big win for that girls team.
It's huge.
Well, Maryville's got 2 seniors. They're really kind of a young team, freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah, we've had them on the show here
Yeah.
earlier in the season. Maryville boys against Tri-Cities Christian last night had no trouble with Tri-Cities. Maryville wins 87-66. So congratulations to both Maryville teams on their win. William Blount versus Hardin Valley Academy in the girls portion. William Blount loses another one. HVA wins 39-33 in a really high scoring shootout right there, wasn't it? But 39-33 Hardin Valley. And then the boys are playing next week, this coming week, in the Sandestin Beach Bash, which is traditional for them. They go down to
Sandestin?
Yeah, go down to Sandestin and play in that tournament down there.
The irony being that the last couple of times they've gone down there, they've ended up playing 2 teams from Murfreesboro in Florida.
Yeah.
Go a long ways.
Long trips to play a team from Tennessee, right?
No kidding, yeah.
I believe
at least they get to go to the beach.
I think that last year that they had, their bracket had, I think 6 of the 16 were from Tennessee that had gone down to that tournament.
Good grief.
Wow.
Well, shoot, last weekend, Tri-Cities Christian and a couple teams from North Carolina, prep schools came over, and the 2 North Carolina schools played each other at Webb instead of playing Tennessee teams. So they're 30 minutes away, and you go through the mountains 4 hours to play.
It's preparation for those district tournament games we used to have to do where we had Maryville playing William Blount at Farragut.
Yeah, really. I remember those days. Oh, goodness. Well, that's just about it for basketball action for this week. All brought to you, of course, by Mandy B. Street Realty. And now it's time for me to flip it over to our veteran sports writer, Marcus Fitzsimmons, for his feature, Mark It Down, after I tell you that you're listening to WKCE 92.5 FM and 1180 AM Mid-Century Radio. Marcus?
Well, thanks, Donnie.
You're welcome.
I'm going to kind of bring in the the Stooges over here since we have them all in this morning. And because we had big news.
All of them are looking at each other.
I think we're all the Stooges, guys. I think it's all of us.
I was looking straight across to us.
Well, it's not very many mornings that we actually have a Troy sighting, we have a Caleb, and we have a Tony.
Go play the Powerball.
Oh my!
I mean,
it hasn't gone well for me the last week, buddy. I've been trying.
Oh boy!
So, and we had big news this week. The first part of it was, and I think something we speculated about correctly about 2 months ago, was that Coach Quarles coming back to coach high school football, accepted a job coming back to the high school ranks next year, and not long after we found out that Coach Hunt was retiring from head coaching. And we had a coaching change at Maryville High School. And we have Coach Cobble coming in second hour to visit with us and talk about accepting that job. But since we have people who have known Derek Hunt in the various stages of his life, who have covered him, coached him, been around him, I thought maybe we give him a report card of, how good a job did Derek do for being, for all practical purposes, the youngest high school football coach in modern history over there. And Troy, you covered him. I mean, what was it? What did you think? Because you saw some of the early phases of his coaching there.
Yeah, I want to start by saying I obviously have a great amount of respect for Coach Hunt. When I was your stringer back in college, obviously Marcus never lets any freelance writers cover Maryville. So when I took the job out of college and went to my very first Maryville practice to go see GQ, the very first person who was there that I met was Derek, and we've kind of just built that friendship and relationship from that day going forward. He was always going to be put in a situation that I think was a little unfair to him because you are following probably the greatest high school football coach of all time, if not one of the two, and obviously both of them probably 3 miles apart, right? Like
sure.
Gary and GQ. And so he was always going to kind of be put in that position of, being compared to his mentor, something that I always thought was maybe a little unfair to him. But the guy lost 18 games in 9 years. He won 2 state championships, and he won 2 state championships in an era where Oakland, they get every 4- and 5-star kid that moves into the state of Tennessee, and we can sit here and we can scratch our heads as to wonder how that happens, but I don't think it takes a rocket scientist.
No. Especially nowadays.
And so if that's the situation that you're up against and you go 100 and whatever it is in 18 and you win 2 state championships at a place like Maryville, it's hard for me to say that he earns a grade anything other than an A. He continued a program tradition. I think if you talk to any of his players, they absolutely loved him. I obviously got to spend a lot of time with that program in my years at the Times. And I've seen some really remarkable things. Not only him, his coaching staff they're remarkable leaders of young men. And I've never been able to say anything bad about any of them, certainly not Coach Hunt, and I never will.
And then we have the other end of the spectrum, sitting on the other end of the table. Caleb, you got to see what turned out to be the last game.
Yeah.
I mean, was there any indication, did there seem to be some tears that seemed a little bit extreme? Were people thinking this 3 weeks ago?
I surely didn't, and the way he talked about the team, and there's probably 2 or 3 quotes I didn't end up putting in the paper where he was talking about how excited he was for next year with Will Jones coming back and how the juniors were going to pick up where these seniors left off. So there was no indication, but at the end of the day, he's got 4 young kids, and he wanted to spend more time with family. And, there was always the aspect, this year when I would go to practices, I would go up and try to talk to Coach Hunt, and he'd be like, hey, can we just call later? My son's got a game tipping off at 6, and it's 5:45, and I want to make it for tip-off. And so he was always ripping and running. And I think a lot of it, too, is he wants to coach, some of his kids' youth teams, I'm sure, too. Maybe not a little less pressure than Maryville High School coaching some of his youngins. But it was a lot about family, and, they've already picked up a dog this week, so they've grown the family to have more stuff.
And he's on Facebook now.
Yeah, he is on Facebook now. But, there was no indication from me at that game that Coach Hunt was stepping down or anything like that, no players. And if that was something that was rumored, you would hear about it and the team would know. I mean, it's one of the largest high schools in the state, so you don't keep that stuff secret. So somebody would have said something, and there was really no indication of it until this week.
Yeah, when you have your own starting 5 at home, you need to start thinking about your coaching duties a little bit.
Sure.
And Coach Iruli, you saw him when he was still, I don't know, he looked like as young as Troy does.
Yeah, he was young. Yeah, he played for me at Maryville College. He had a very successful high school career at Maryville High School. Then he went to UT for a year. He was still trying to figure out if he still wanted to play ball. Then he transferred over to Maryville College and ended up being my starter the last 3 games of his sophomore season. He's such a competitor. He would go ahead and, as a quarterback, scramble and be real physical. He would drop his head and try to run over linebackers. Got a couple concussions. So in his junior season, our trainer told him, listen, if you get another concussion, you're probably going to have to pull you for good. And so, we talked about him not, going head-to-head on people, to run, get down, get out of bounds if he had a scramble. Well, the second series of the first game of the year, he's running down the sideline, and I'm thinking he's going to run out of bounds, and he drops his head and shoulder into a linebacker, gets maybe his 3rd overall concussion.
Oh, boy.
And, so his playing career was over. However, he stayed on to be a student coach for us and did just a great job. You knew that guy, he was going to be a coach. And then his senior season, he went over to Maryville High School and coached for Coach Quarles at Maryville High School. And then that just led to his coaching career over at Maryville High School. Smart, intelligent, great guy. I mean, I can't be more proud than a young man than Derek, because he's put together a great coaching staff. A lot of them former Maryville College players or associated with Maryville College. But to follow a legend, I mean, the rumor is always saying you want to be the person who follows
the person,
the legend, sort of like the Bear Bryant thing. I mean, you don't want to be the guy following him. You want to be the guy 2 yards. But Derek, I tell you what, his career, I'm so proud of him. And his family's very important. And his children are at that age where they're going all the time, and he wants to be a part of that and not to miss out. So, congratulations on him. I'm just very proud of everything that he's been able to accomplish.
I mean, on the note of youth, too, he steps down after 9 seasons at Maryville High School, and he's still only 35 years old.
Yeah.
I mean,
chances are somewhere down the line he's going to be back somewhere. But right now, his important thing is being that father to the 4 children, especially, right now they're at the very active years of their life, with soccer and basketball and football and all the stuff that you do with kids at that age. So
well, you get one chance when they're not teens.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And when they're teens, the nature of parent-children relations changes a little bit more. And I've known Derek since he was in our biddy league, going back to 8 years old, known his dad. Always an intelligent player. When he played for me in high school basketball, he would talk strategy, concepts, and that carried over. He inherited a program that had good infrastructure. He's passing on a program that has good infrastructure.
Sure.
And, I hate to see it, but I certainly understand.
Yeah.
And he'll be fine. He's already reserved time over at Montgomery Ridge for his team's practices, right? So
He's still going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Head coach of Team Hunt rather than head coach of the
That's
Rebels.
right. That's right.
And you can understand that. And Tony, you brought up. I'd forgotten about that play. I remember that game, and because we'd had that conversation in the preseason when we were writing it up. Derek's coming off this, and we're going to try to use him a little differently this year.
Sure.
And
second
series, he lowered his head instead of going out of bounds, and I remember up in the press box, Eric Etchison shaking his head. So I can't believe he just did that.
Yeah.
That was our season.
I mean, we talked during the off season. Hey,
but he was a super competitive athlete.
Competitor.
And I like that he seems to have had a knack to bring that out in his players.
Right.
That he brings that competitive spirit to them and can kind of bring it out where they're competitive but not going over the top sort of thing.
Yeah. And at the same time, you congratulate him because he's put together a great coaching staff. And, the success of Maryville High School starts at the middle school with Jay Malone and all the coaches that, at the junior high that feeds into Maryville High School. I mean, from top to bottom, I mean, that's such a, just like Alcoa. I mean, just, both sides are just really talented in the coaching end of things. And a lot of those coaches, I mean, they could be easily college coaches as well.
Yeah. They get a lot of mileage out of the kids they get through. And I'd go down even one more level to youth football.
Correct.
Because many of them played for some of the coaches you're mentioning. And, they're passing that on. And the kid, football, there's talent, there's technique. And when you get them both together, you're going to be pretty darn good. And if you got a large enough demographic, that's what's changed. Murfreesboro area, it's not just Oakland anymore.
No.
I mean, there's 3 schools down there in that same area, and they're all pretty good, and they're all getting some good people.
Yeah, transfer portal's really working good over there.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you drive that road to 840 to go to Murfreesboro, remember the time, and it wasn't that long ago where you went and got 24 exit, and that was pretty much all you. Now that it's the 2 exits before and the 2 exits after. I mean, Murfreesboro's exploded.
It's grown a lot.
Sure.
I remember counting cows going to state basketball in 76 to play. Oh, wow, where's Murfreesboro? And, it was out there.
Well, the exit we used to take for state volleyball, there was nothing on that exit 3 years ago. Now it's like there's shopping centers and houses.
It's just blown up,
There's 14 traffic lights to go through before you get to the high school. It's, it's a growing area, and it kind of shows not just in football. And it's not saying, I guess that's the point I wanted to get to was, in any other environment at almost any other school, if you have a coach that has the career record that Troy mentioned, those state championships, has consistently every year gotten you to the state quarterfinals or better.
They'd consider naming the football field after you.
Yeah.
But at Maryville, you are one of several.
Correct.
Yeah.
The standard is just so high at Maryville High School.
Yeah.
And so here's the unfair question for you guys: are Maryville fans a little spoiled at this point?
Yes.
After
What do you think?
After a generation and a half of this.
That's a multiple choice question with one answer.
Yeah.
Yes. Because a lot of people that have moved in, and they moved in with Maryville being at the top. They didn't experience the other time. If you've been around long enough, there's been some ups and downs. But once you get to a certain student population, 1,200 or more, it's been really good. And so what's been our worst year? Well, we got beat in the semis. Yeah. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I mean, one year they
lost in the championship.
Yeah, one year they did lose 2 during the season, so I know that was a down year.
Yeah, and I think a testament to his impact that he's made over the last 9 years is I obviously haven't been in the industry for 2 years now. The amount of people who texted me just wanting to talk about Derek this week it's been special, and like I like reliving all of that stuff. Obviously, I wore my Maryville shirt today. That him and specifically him, but also the rest of the coaching staff were so nice enough to always let me kind of feel part of the family a little bit. And so it's been a weird week for me, just kind of reliving some stuff and knowing that he won't be there. That's going to be really strange for me. But I am really excited for the guy who takes his spot, and I can't wait for that first game in Shields next year.
Yeah, you know, like I said, we're going to tease a little bit more that we get to talk with him in the next hour. And, you know, one of the things, and if he's listening, he's not here.
He's right here.
He's right here.
He's hearing you.
He's listening.
So he may get a little bit of preview.
He hears everything.
But, you know, for the first time since Tim Hammontree was on the sideline, you don't have the offensive guru.
Got a defensive guy.
You have a defensive guy for the first time since Hammontree was there. That's been, if you think about it, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you basically had a quarterback whisperer in one form or another for 25 years. So it's going to be a change at Maryville.
Yeah.
In some ways. But Donnie, you got any more on the scoreboard? Because I think we need to remind people we're not going to be around for 2 weeks.
This is true. Go ahead and let them know that. Because
Are you looking for filler?
No, we're getting ready. We're getting ready to turn this page, but
Yeah.
we're supposed to remind people we're going to be off for 2 weeks. So they're not going to be crazy if they come on Facebook looking for us or turn on the radio that we're not here for the holidays.
It's going to be blank.
We're not going to be around, but we will be back on January 10th.
January 10th.
Mike, you want to go ahead and turn the page?
Yeah, it's time to turn the page. Next up is the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week segment. You're listening to the GoTeez Sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices.
Now that's January
Stevenson
the 10th,
Tire
Donnie.
Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensontire.net. The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today: call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards along with the rest of our broadcast crew, and now it's time for the GoTeez Sports Page Player of the Week segment featuring Daily Time senior reporter Marcus Fitzsimmons, sponsored by Anderson Lumber Company, where quality service is always a priority. Proudly serving Blount County for over 100 years. And Marcus, you've been talking about Maryville football. Now you got the new guy in here.
Yeah, we do. No pressure for him. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
So we're going to rename it this week. Instead of Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week, it's going to be the Anderson Lumber Company Talk of the Town, because there's nobody that has been talked about more this week than our current guest. Coach, thank you for coming in and visiting with us this morning. Let me just ask, no pressure, right?
Yeah, no pressure, right? Gosh, it's been a wild week. You're right. It's been a wild week, and I was just telling Coach it was kind of unplanned for and not what we were expecting to do here in the last couple of weeks, but here we are, and Megan and I are super excited. And there is pressure at Maryville, but gosh, I couldn't think of a better place to be with as much support as is there and as great a coaching staff as we have and the kind of kids that we have. What an opportunity. I mean, it's an honor to be there.
Well, just for the people who don't know at this point, just remind people of the path you got, because it's kind of interesting. It's not uncommon at Maryville, but it's uncommon for anywhere else that you have so many former head coaches on one coaching staff. So your path came from Jefferson County, right?
Right. So I started out originally, graduated from Maryville College in 1998 and was fortunate enough to get on at Loudon High School and was there for 4 years and then followed our head coach there, Tim Daniels, down to Red Bank High School and coached with him for 9 years there and was lucky enough to get the head coaching job at Jefferson County and was there for 5 years. And we got to a point there, Megan and I, we had 2 boys, Eli and Casey, who both graduated from Maryville here in the last 3 or 4 years. And I was at a point where, honestly, very similar to Derek. I was like, I'm gone all the time. We're mowing fields, we're lining fields, we're coaching, we're doing all the things, and I'm not seeing my boys. And so we started really, honestly, praying about what does that look like for us? Is there a change that we can have that puts us in a different position at home? And the next thing you know, we hear from Coach Quarles and get a chance to come here. I mean, just totally, in my opinion, just it's a God thing, right? And so got the chance to come here and work with Coach Quarles for like 6 months.
I was remembering you came in and it was just as he was
right. So
making his exit.
Right. We had that 16 season together and enjoyed every second of it. Of course, have such great respect for him. Gosh, I mean, how couldn't you? But we threw together some of the summers when I was at Jefferson County and crossed paths. And I was fortunate enough to meet his parents when we were in Jefferson County, with him being from there. And just what a great family they were. So a chance to come here and still be involved in the game and be involved at a place that's the best that you could imagine being at, and then still be able to be home enough to be a dad a little bit more often. It was just perfect for us to get here. And then, of course, with Derek taking over, what a great choice. Derek's so good at so many things.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he's just a fantastic person. I've never met anybody who deals with people better than Derek Hunt, period. And he just is so skilled at what he does, and just so fortunate to have him here and to be part of his staff. And now he's making that change that he has to make, and I get it. And so it was kind of right place, right time. I realized that it's a big job, and it's way bigger than me, and it takes way more than me. And I'm really fortunate that we got such good people around us here, because Maryville's special.
And, you say that, and we were just talking about maybe Maryville fans can be a little bit spoiled and not realize how good things are. But when you're part of a coaching staff and you look at that, you're not the only former head coach on that staff. You can also look at some of the other assistants on the staff, and generally their term at Maryville is double digits.
Yeah.
Some of them in double decades.
Yep.
And you don't usually see that kind of consistency in a staff. You don't see guys that are there that long, guys that are willing to say, do what you did and be like, I was a head coach and now I'll be an assistant. You don't see that many places, but you all not only have a large staff, you have a very experienced staff to work with.
Gosh, it's unbelievable, because you show up at work and everybody's there is so good at what they do, and you do have guys that have been here through multiple decades of the program. You've got multiple guys that played here at Maryville and then came back and came back from either head coaching roles or coordinator roles, and it's just a testament to this place. But man, you walk into the office every day, and here we are last year, thinking, man, we got it pretty good. How could it get any better? And then Lamar Brown walks in the door. You know what I mean? I'm like, holy cow, and he's as good as advertised. And so, I mean, it really, you walk in and you kind of pinch yourself, because you really feel like you're working with the very best.
Is it really a room where you all may have forgotten as much about football as some staffs know?
We've probably been accused of that sometimes, of forgetting more. Now, it really is so unique, because it's like, it's really hard to come up with too many scenarios that somebody hasn't been through it at least once. And so that's pretty neat to sit in a staff meeting and hear the opinions and hear the perspectives, and because you do have perspectives from really from all age ranges. You know, I mean, it wasn't too long ago that Nick Myers was spinning the football here, or Chase White was catching it, and then Mike was coached those guys, and Nick White's been here forever, and Ryan Talent, I mean, what a legend he is around here. So it's really cool to have those different pieces of perspective from all different ranges in the office, because you feel like you can find a solution for just about anything.
Okay, I'm going to hit you with one from far part of left field, going back to college days.
Okay.
Because Coach, I really just got up from here. But when you go back and look at the Maryville College teams, especially the teams from like 96 to 99, it seems like everybody who was a starter on one of those teams is coaching high school football somewhere. And a lot of them in this county. Was there something going on at that point? Was there just a bunch of education majors at that point that wanted to coach?
You know, it is interesting to think about that, and really just how many Maryville College guys are on just our staff. But, man, they're everywhere. They are, and some great minds, great football minds, great people. And, man, we had a lot of fun over there. My time at Maryville College is as special as I could ever explain. I met my wife there, and we got married on campus there a few years after we graduated, and my son's a freshman playing for the football team now. My youngest, Casey, is, and so what a special place. But, yeah, there were a lot of people there involved in coaching, and not just here, like several surrounding counties, man. There's a lot of Maryville Scots coaching people up these days.
So what is the first priority? Do you get to replace yourself? Like, do you get to go find a quarterback whisperer to fill Derek's other roles, or is the staff set, or what do y'all have to do first?
I think at Maryville, the coolest thing about it is we're going to have opportunity maybe to fill a role here or there, and you look first at Maryville, I think, for fit. You know, who fits and who can come in and walk in the door and make us better. Right, we want somebody that can come in and challenge us and make us better, and who will fit with our culture and our program, what we got going on there. And so, you know, I mentioned Lamar Brown coming in, and you want to talk about a guy that walked in the door and made us better and fit. I told him just a couple of weeks ago, I was like, man, it's almost like you've been here multiple years longer than you have, the way you came in, and it was just such a good vibe from him in the room, and he brought so much to the table. And so I think we'll be looking for maybe one other guy and see who we can find that makes us better and fits in that room.
Well, you know, seeing how West played against Maryville, have y'all considered that maybe he was actually partly in the room some of those years?
There's no doubt.
Plays some good games.
There's no doubt, and he comes with that perspective, right? Hey, when we were playing, we thought this and this and this, and he's so good with kids too. And kids are drawn to him, man. He just has a way and a presence about him, and it's been pretty neat to watch him come in. He's been involved in our leadership program and has done great with that. And that's the thing. We've got so many guys that do so many different things for the program and that just are fantastic at what they do. I mean, you can't say enough about them across the board. You know, like you mentioned, you know, Mike White and Joe Robinette have been here since the beginning, and you got guys that have come on like Michael Bosco and Nick Myers is on, and Chase White, and there's just so many guys. I mean, Adam Hendricks, I mean, what an asset he is, and so just so many guys that have done so many things, and again, guys that have played here. Jason Hicks played tailback here and has come in, and he's fantastic. Kids love him, and that seems to be kind of a common theme with our guys. Kids just gravitate to our coaches, and our coaches love them, and I think they're there for the right reasons.
Makes them want to play more.
Yeah,
want to play for the coaching staff.
I'm telling you, and it makes it so much fun to come to practice. You know, you get in the fall, and it can get to be a grind. You know, a little bit. You play in long seasons and all that, and it's what you sign up for. But man, when you get to come to practice and be around all those guys that love being there, and be around those kids that love being there, gosh, it's like it's what you sign up for, right?
Indeed.
So you get to start laying plans for spring practice, but I guess the last couple of weeks was like, we don't know much about the process from the outside, but were there some nervous moments with interviews that went on during this? Was there some surprises with how Derek told you all what was going on? And it was a very quick process, so it seems like you all had a very interesting couple of days.
It was a quick process, you know, and like I said, you don't plan for change. You know, you hope the band stays together and you just keep playing, right? That's what you want.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want, right? But, Derek had to do what he had to do, and being a daddy and being a husband's number one, and it should be. And so I have so much respect for him for making that move. But it was a wild few hours, couple of days there. Even just deciding, are you going to be interested in doing this or not? Is that where you want to go? Is that in talking with the boys and Megan, and is this the path we want to go down as a family? Because it's all of us in this deal. It's not just me. And so that part was interesting. As far as nervousness for an interview or anything like that, I really was just at peace with whatever shook out. I'm going to go and give my viewpoints on it, and if it's me, great, and if it's not me, let's get in the boat and get the oars going and get us back heading where we're supposed to be heading.
So, no animosity that, Derek left the cupboard so bare, but left the personnel. Which is my way of saying, there's some of these guys that you were looking forward to seeing what they can do next season.
Yeah.
Like some of these guys you want to brag about who are coming back.
When you've got Will Jones in your locker room coming back, that's awesome. What an opportunity that is to watch him go. And
most other coaches are like, hasn't that kid graduated yet?
100%. He's exactly what you want as a guy leading your program. And we got some guys coming back that are going to be great. He and Colton Faust have played together for a long time and really enjoyed it. And Gabe Skeeto and some of those guys up front. And then you flip on the other side and you've got Dax Cole and Wyatt Wilbur and Chase Tucker and some of those guys coming back defensively that are a ton of fun to watch and a ton of fun to coach, and are excited about trying to improve off of where we've been and make it better and make it the best that they can make it. And they're terrorizing the weight room already. It's pretty special, those guys coming back, for sure. That we got a chance to improve, and we got some great leadership to do it from our kids, for sure.
So we were already thinking ahead a little bit, and I'm not sure if you've done it yet, but you get a real cupcake game for your first game as Maryville's head coach.
Wow. Yeah. Just a little battle of Pistol Creek to start it off, right?
Exactly.
No big deal. And those guys, golly, they do a great job, Brian, and those guys over there. Just so much respect for them and what kind of coach he is. Got to coach with him in the All-Star game last year that they held here at Maryville, and it's just so much fun, and he's so good at what he does, and Goose and all those guys. They do a phenomenal job, and they're Maryville Scots, like you mentioned earlier, but that's a fun one to start off with, and I think it's fun for everybody in the county to start off with that one. What a way to kick off the football season.
Find out what you're made of in a hurry.
Oh gosh, absolutely, immediately. And that's the truth. Last year we went through that game. Well, every year we go through that game, but we're able to do that one at the beginning of the year last year and really come out of it evaluating. Here's where we've got to get better, and we got to get better in a hurry right here because they're good enough to let you know in a hurry where you need to get better.
True.
Well, we know the secret to Maryville. They will let you lose 6 games your first 2 years. You just have to win the next 75 in a row after that.
No big deal, right? Is it a deal where you get those games and you can spread them out, or you get them all at once and that's it, And what a special time frame that was for George and Jimmy and David and those guys. Golly,
well,
you can't even make it up.
And there's one I think that people are curious about. It's within the Maryville High community and with the parents, is there's a lot of changes going on at the school. Like, are you all going to be impacted? Because it sounds like they're going to be closing the road beside the stadium, and they're going to be tearing stuff up back there. Like, are you all going to be forced to get off the field this spring? Or
I think we're going to be okay. Now, we might have to take a longer path to get to the field. Right now, to get to the field, you've got to go, almost all the way to Cedar Street to get to the field. But but I think we'll be okay. I think it's going to work out, and those guys are moving fast. But it's all torn up over there right now. You can't get down to the aux gym or any of that stuff on the back end. You've got to go through the school and all the way to the far end and out. But we'll find a way. We'll find a way to get on the field and get going.
So I've been trying to tell Caleb not to share that information with other people in our profession, because if they drive off into a ditch, that's just too bad. If they don't know if they don't know the parking lot's missing back there.
With some of the traffic getting to those games this year was crazy. With the J.D. Vance game, I was trying to get over there and stuck in traffic. But I do have a question, if I can, Marcus.
Go ahead.
Because for people who haven't read our coverage on the Daily Times, I thought you had a good answer here. But Coach Hunt was joking with me the other day that, you have way more experience than he did stepping into this role, and you've got a much better staff around you and the credentials to go with it. But just for you, going from Jefferson County head coach, obviously, and then leaving to come to Maryville in 2016, how do you feel like you've grown since you've been at Maryville to make you better equipped to take this position now?
Well, one thing about the game of football, it evolves, it moves quickly, and you've got to kind of try to keep up with that. And it's funny, it does that, but at the same time, it comes down to blocking and tackling, right, ultimately. But when you walk into that room with all those coaches with that much experience who have won at the level that they've won in, you have no choice but to up your game, right? You have no choice but to go in there and be prepared and try to be on par for what the expectation is there. And I'm not talking about necessarily even the outside expectation. I'm talking about the expectation within the room for you to come in and you better know what you're talking about and have something to say and have some input and find a way to impact kids, because everybody around you, top to bottom, is doing that. And so, I mean, that's what makes you want to get better, because you're coming in there with guys that are fantastic, and you don't want to be the one that lets anybody down.
I also wanted to give you the opportunity to share, for those who didn't read our coverage in yesterday's paper, Coach Hunt was telling me how you led the leadership program and kind of took the reins of that him and you and Coach Hicks wanted to start way back when. Why don't you tell people just about that program and how, everybody says that it's cliche, you want to make better men and not just football players, but it feels like at Maryville y'all have the steps there to actually do that. So just walk us through that
and
program.
It is kind of cliche, but gosh, it's just so true that's your purpose has got to be bigger than your goals, and I think we live up to that there. The lead program is something that we've tried to get going a little bit, and we've done a lot of different things. Coach Hicks knows a lot of people with his military background, was able to bring speakers in and talk about leadership, and then Coach Hunt kind of developed our lead acronym for our guys for love, effort, and attitude and discipline, and that being the key ingredients that make up kind of our Maryville mentality that we've got. And so we put together a deal for our seniors that each spring we're going to meet with those guys and focus on each part of that, the love, the effort, the attitude, the discipline, and try to let those guys take it back out to our team, explain to them what it means for us, let them have some conversation about it, and then take it back out to our team. And then this year when Coach Brown arrived, he had a pretty good program that they did at West, and we've kind of married those together, and he led our groups in season every Thursday and added to it and enhanced it. And so it's been a deal where we just it's been evolving, and I think we've got a chance this next year to put in place maybe our best version of it yet. And so we're really excited about that and going to continue to lead our leadership group and try to let our leadership group lead our kids, our other kids that maybe aren't in the leadership group, and grow it that way so that we're aligned from top to bottom and they understand what we're saying when we talk about it. And I just think those things can make a difference when you're asking a guy to wear the same colored cleats, or you're asking a guy to be a certain place on time, or act a certain way at practice or in a game. When you've got that kind of alignment in what you believe and they all know it, I think a lot of things kind of take care of themselves.
Yeah, you got my last question there was, in this day and age with the way things have changed, those type of specific programs and breaking out time, it seems like it's more important now than ever before to have that specific time for that sort of thing.
Yeah, to me it's the fourth phase, right? You've got offense, you've got defense, you've got special teams, and that's got to be the fourth phase, and it's got to be what your belief system is and what you want your kids to do and how you want them to react in situations. And you've got to teach that, right? You've got to teach it. They're young guys. They're impressionable. They see everything on social media and see the me culture. And so I think if you are not intentional about trying to teach that, it's hard for them to understand because they don't know, right? They didn't grow up like we did in a totally different arena. So I think it's the fourth phase and just as important as any of the other three.
And, Coach, your seniors lead regardless of talent.
Yep.
And that leadership program that helps them learn how to become leaders. Because there's some that aren't going to be your best players on the field that are seniors, but they're still going to set the tone in the locker room, weight room, holding people accountable. And, yeah, that's excellent. I've always felt that seniors lead even if they're not the leading scorer.
100%. I think year in and year out, I think your team goes as your seniors go. So whatever their temperature is, I think that's what guides your team. And so putting them in a position to know that their role is valuable. What if I'm not the leading scorer? What if I'm not scoring touchdowns? What if I'm a scout team guy? Teaching them that they matter and teaching those other guys that they matter every bit as much as you do, because they're helping us get to Friday nights and understanding that that's an important role and as important often as scoring the touchdowns. So, but I do think that's something you've got to work at.
That's why it's called a team.
That's right. That's right.
Because it takes a village.
It takes all of us, right?
And I think we call it a cliche because, you know, every coach talks about leadership and all that stuff, but as somebody who worked in the building for 2 years, like, those kids have always they always hold themselves to a higher standard, and getting to see it firsthand, just how they act in the classroom, how they handle practice, how they respond to coaches, the community, all that stuff. Like, it shows that it works and that it means something to them to be a leader at Maryville. It's one of the things that it's one of the greatest things I took away from you guys, working with you guys those 2 years, is just how good of a job you guys do at doing it and how well the kids embrace it.
It is neat to watch them grow through it, you know, and see them out there maybe speaking that language to each other a little bit. And like I said, it's been evolving, and I think we've got a chance to make it so much better, too.
And, Coach, we appreciate you coming in and giving your time this morning to end a busy week. Come the fall, we'll probably ask you to come back and talk to us again.
Absolutely.
But thanks for, like I said, thanks for coming in this morning. We wish you the best of luck with this. And always welcome to come by and visit if you want to. You can follow the GQ model and just pop your head in on your way to the golf course if you want.
That's right.
We'll be glad to have you back. Mike, I think we're ready to turn the page and get going.
Return. It's the Boyd Sports Spotlight. You're listening to the GoTeez Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, and it's time for the Boyd Sports Spotlight segment featuring Donnie Moore. And Donnie, got a lot of sports headlines this morning.
We got some good headlines today. You know, there's a lot of things happening in the sports world right now. So let's get right to it. Sports headlines brought to you by our friends at Fast Signs. Will Muschamp is set to return to the University of Texas as defensive coordinator, a position that he held for 3 years from 2008 to 2010. Muschamp is best known for his time as head coach at Florida and South Carolina, of course, but he replaces Pete Kwiatkowski, who served as defensive coordinator on Steve Sarkisian's staff for 5 years. So he's headed back to Texas. The NFL playoffs are upon us, almost. And here's what players on participating teams can expect to earn in compensation for their playoff run. Wild card teams earn $49,500 each player on the team, on the wild card teams. Now, in addition to that, if your team makes a division championship, you will earn an additional $54,500 for each player. Conference championship teams earn an additional $77,000 for each player. And when it gets to the Super Bowl, then the runner-up team earns an additional $96,000. And the Super Bowl 60 winner Each person on the team will receive $171,000 in additional compensation. So, I tell you, that's some pretty good money for one game, huh? Wouldn't you say?
I'd take that.
I would too.
Yeah.
Good work if you can get it.
Indeed, it is. Well, the NCAA volleyball tournament is being played this week. In one semifinal match, Texas A&M swept their match in a dominating fashion, eliminating number 1 seed Pittsburgh. The Panthers have been sent packing in the semis for 5 years in a row.
It's tough.
Yeah, that is tough. In the other semi, Wisconsin took Kentucky to 5 sets, but the Wildcats eventually prevailed. So Texas A&M will play Kentucky in the first all-SEC national title match in volleyball. The first one ever.
Good. About time.
Tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. on ABC.
Look at that.
So you get to see that.
You know what's crazy, Donnie, about Kentucky?
What's that?
They've been a powerhouse in volleyball.
Yeah, they have.
This was the first season their arena got air conditioning.
Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yep, they just installed it. So they
Wow.
and volleyball starts. So they were playing in July and August in a sweaty arena.
I haven't opened the windows to get some cross ventilation in there. Huh?
Yeah,
we got air conditioning at Maryville Gym.
Okay,
Near
good.
in the middle 2000s. We'd bring in big fans for basketball camp.
Oh,
and
man, I know.
Anyway.
Well, speaking on trade speculation for the first time in weeks, Giannis Antetokounmpo says he has not discussed the subject with the Bucks about his future in Milwaukee. He added, however, that his agent could be addressing the matter with the team. This is a quote from Giannis. He said, "If my agent is talking to the Bucks about it, he's his own person and can have any conversation that he wants."
I don't think that's how it works, but okay.
But at the end of the day, I don't work for my agent. My agent works for me.
That's fair.
That's a good line.
So, yeah, it is.
But shouldn't the agent be kind of
But then
letting them know?
He should be according to the plan, I think, right there.
If that were the case, then the agent would be talking to the Bucks because he was informed to talk to the Bucks.
This year features 41 major college football bowl games, including the 6 that are part of the college football playoff. That's up from 18 bowl games in the 1995-96 season and 28 in the 2005 to 2006 schedule. Of those 41 bowl games, 38 will be broadcast by ESPN or ABC, which are both owned by the Walt Disney Corporation.
Yeah, the mouse.
Yeah.
Good job, Walt.
Yeah, no doubt. 2020 first-round pick Tua Tagovailoa, in the midst of a lackluster season, was reportedly benched Wednesday morning for rookie Quinn Ewers. Ewers. I'm saying, I can't read my own writing here.
Can't disrespect the Longhorns like that. You'll start getting emails.
Quinn Ewers.
I think they need to make a change at the head coaching position there.
Well, that could be. That could be. Tua leads the league in interceptions with 15, and Miami has been eliminated from the playoffs for this season.
I think when you get eliminated, you should put all the rookies out there, see what you have.
Yeah, no doubt.
Makes sense.
Here's a rundown of the top 10 salaries earned by college basketball coaches currently. Coming in at number 10, Mark Pope from Kentucky. He makes $5 million a year. Coming in at number 9, Nate Oates from Alabama, $5.02 million per year. Number 8, Tommy Lloyd from Arizona makes $5.25 million. And then at number 7, Scott Drew from Baylor, $5.41 million per year. Now, number 6, name you'll be very familiar with, Rick Barnes.
Ooh.
Makes $5.8 million.
Lifetime contract.
It is, lifetime contract. Mick Cronin comes in at number 5, a UCLA head coach, earning $6.1 million a year.
He gets a bonus for all the complaining he does.
Yeah, and he does a lot. Tom Izzo comes in at number 4, Michigan State coach, earns $6.2 million. Number 3 is Dan Hurley from UConn, $7.8 million a year. And then number 2 and number 1 are both earn $8 million or more a year.
Rodney Nelson.
Number 2 is John Calipari from Arkansas, $8 million, and Bill Self, number 1 highest paid coach in the country, from Kansas, earns $8.8 million a year.
Mike, where would you have been on that list when you were with the Wasps?
When I was in the Wasp, I would be way back. I would probably not even be mentioned, to be honest with you.
You were honorable mention or unhonorable mention?
Yeah, I was
dishonorable
mention. The money. I would be way. Way. I don't know how many schools there are in the country, but I'd be down.
You'd be kind of like what Penn State's recruiting rankings were on national assignment. You'd be like way down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. On this day in sports, December 20th, these are some things that happened. 1926, the Cardinals trade future Hall of Fame infielder Rogers Hornsby to the New York Giants for Frankie Frisch and Jimmy Ring. They had concerns over Hornsby's gambling.
Which would all be legal now.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, well.
For the most part.
Easier to cover up.
Yeah.
In 1940, Connie Mack, which was the popular name, the shortened name of Cornelius McGillicuddy, he acquired the controlling interest in the Athletics for $42,000.
Very good deal.
Controlling owner, made majority owner for $42,000. I think I could scrape up that much.
Mine that way. Yeah.
Boy,
that was his real name though.
Yes.
Cornelius McGillicuddy.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, you could probably get a stake in that franchise for not much more today.
Yeah, no kidding.
He coached in a suit, a banker's suit.
Oh, man.
He never dressed up in baseball.
Yeah. Okay. Can you imagine that in July?
Connie Mack. 1983, let's jump ahead a few years here. Canadiens Guy Lafleur becomes the 10th National Hockey Leaguer to score 500 goals. Not too bad. 1985, Howard Cosell.
Good, Howard.
Yeah. Retires from TV sports after 20 years with ABC Sports.
Legend.
I enjoyed hearing him talk.
Yeah, he had
with Dandy Don.
He had his own variety show.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine him being?
1942. Let's go to birthdays here. 1942. Bob Hayes was born on this day. 2 Olympic golds in 1964. The 100 meters and the 4x100 relay. He won gold in.
Bob the Bullet.
Great
the
player.
Bullet. That's
Great
right.
Player.
He was a Pro Football Hall of Fame wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, born in Jacksonville, Florida.
All right.
He died in 2002. 1961, Nate Newton. Happy birthday to Nate Newton, NFL guard from the Cowboys, born in Orlando, Florida. 2 Florida guys there.
Yeah, and Cowboys. You're on a roll right now.
Yeah.
This is the Cowboys.
I must be butter. I'm on a roll. Let's talk about 3 deaths right here that happened on this day. 2019, Junior Johnson. Recognize that name. NASCAR Hall of Famer, Daytona 500 winner in 1960. Died of Alzheimer's disease at 88. And 2022, another name you're going to recognize immediately, Franco Harris, Pro Football Hall of Fame running back. They were Super Bowl winners in 74, 75, 78, and 79.
Yeah.
He is a 9-time Pro Bowler for the Steelers.
Met him one time.
Did
where they used to have the Superstars event down in Florida?
Yeah.
He was a participant. Me and my buddy skipped school and went down and met him. He was
Nice
guy.
He was the receiver of the Immaculate Reception.
Yes, he
wasn't
was.
That's right.
Yeah.
He sure was. He died at 72 years of age. And in 2024, died on this day, Ricky Henderson.
Yep.
Major League Baseball stolen base record, 1,406 stolen bases in his career.
Yep.
Died of pneumonia at 65.
Great player as well.
He sure was. Well, that's all for this week's Sports Headlines, brought to you, as always, by Fast Signs. I'm Donnie Moore. Back to you, Gunner.
Yeah, I wanted to mention also, this past week, Greg Biffle, the former NASCAR
I saw that.
champion.
Plane crash.
Had a plane crash and killed his family and a couple other.
That was
I mean,
horrible.
right here at Christmas time, what an awful
that's
tragedy.
terrible.
But you know, it got me to thinking, Tony Iruli. You know, we've been around a while,
Yeah.
and Donnie's been around a while.
We have.
How many athletes, great athletes, and actors and people in the music business have been killed on these private
Well,
planes?
I remember Thurman Munson.
Yes.
Yeah, he was flying his.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and you know, there's been a lot of in the music industry.
Buddy Holly.
Jim Croce. You know, a lot of great stars and athletes, and you know, they're still trying to figure out who was flying that plane as well, because there's 2 or 3 that were qualified pilots.
Yeah, they had 3 certified pilots
on the plane.
Yeah.
Well, evidently it took off, and then something happened. Tried to make it back to the airport, and where it crashed. I mean, just sad.
Yeah.
Boy, goodness.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Rodney Nelson, I want to
Yes.
Follow that
before
one
we
up.
get into
All right.
before we get into the college football playoffs, I want to hit on a couple of things in basketball wise. UT's got Gardner Webb tomorrow at 3:00, and they've got South Carolina State next Tuesday at 8:00. Both of those are home games for them, so we would have to assume that they're going to be 10-3 heading into the conference schedule. And if you look at those first 5 games, you know, they're at Arkansas, John Calipari down there, and they're playing pretty well. And then you're home against Texas, and then you're away down at Florida. And Florida's, you know, their record may not be what maybe it ought to be. I think they're 6-4 or somewhere around that category. But they've played an extremely hard schedule here early.
Yeah, they have.
And then you got Texas A&M at home and Kentucky at home. You got 3 out of 5 at home right there, which is a big advantage. But they're into it.
That's still murderer's row.
Yeah,
isn't it?
they're into it to start this.
Such an
conference
easy
schedule.
way to start off your SEC.
Yeah.
And why not? That Calipari game, I'm hoping that Barnes' hold over Calipari continues. That'll be a really good game because Arkansas is playing really well.
Should.
And, you know, Florida last year kind of got off to a good start, a slow start, but they're minus a guard. I watch that team and I say that one guard, because they certainly have all the size back.
Yeah.
But
Don't they have a guy that's, 7'6"?
7'9".
7'9".
He's
He
the tallest
barely
player in
plays.
NCAA history to score. He got a dunk the other night.
Well,
There you go.
They call him
just
Runt.
a dunk. I mean, we were done.
Yeah.
But it's a real challenge. Where do you think they'll end up finishing, Mike, in the SEC?
I don't know. I'm looking at the SEC teams this year. There's none of the top 10 at this point, which is a little unusual. I don't know whether the league's down a little bit or maybe there's a lot more parity in the league, or certainly looks to me like there's quite a bit of parity in the SEC because from around 13 to 25, you got 7 teams, you know, kind of all packed in there. So you see a lot within them 7 teams. I think you see a lot of similarities and comparity and kind of up for grabs. Nationally, don't know where the SEC is right now.
Yeah.
How do you see it?
To me, they're just a slight notch down than where they were last year. I don't see quite well, look at Chaz Lanier. We don't have Chaz Lanier.
Yeah.
And year before Dalton Connect. And every team's kind of lost that guard. I can't remember the guard's name at Florida last year, but he seemed to be
The
nemesis.
point guard,
Yeah,
Walter Clayton Jr.
Well, and they love to play against Tennessee. So, but I think this team has a chance to be deeper and defensively be more dominating if he'll continue to play deep.
I wanted to ask both of you guys, since we have Rodney here this morning. Nate Ament, whenever he plays against name brand teams, the physicality seems to get to him. And when you've got a top-ranked player like that in the SEC, you know, we're talking about Arkansas. They're going to want to bump him and hit him and make him feel that physicality. So from both coaches' standpoints, how do you get a guy like that to deal with that physicality and still perform? Because like you said earlier with the numbers, if he's not performing well, this team probably won't win a lot of those SEC games.
Well, I look at Ament and I like some of their ISO stuff they do where he can back people down and kind of rise up. If he depends on a three-point shot over people, that's not going to work. I look at Ament as a 28-minute guy in SEC games. I think he needs those blocks of rest because the physicality, it wears you down, and all of a sudden you're really down. And you've noticed teams have run a lot of stuff to where they can isolate him on a roll with the postman, and they just try to bull rush him into the lane. So, but he's obviously going to be a key. I still think that, Barnes and his staff is figuring it out. How can we be more physical out on the perimeter? And, Evans, he brings it. And I think he's going to play Berg a little bit more, although Berg doesn't look his foot quick, but he's real savvy. So it's going to be a great year for basketball. And I think, Mike, what you're pointing out with 7 teams between 10 and 25, you could be really good and be 7 in the SEC.
Yeah. I'm looking at Tennessee's team and how you asked me how I thought they would do in the league. I'm a little concerned about their road performance right now. How they're going to play on the road, because I think it's really tough in the SEC from top to bottom to play night in and night out on the road. So
they haven't played on the road good yet this year.
It hasn't. They haven't proven that, and I'm not worried about them at home at all. Yeah. They're a home team. There's no doubt about that, and I think they'll do well there, unquestionably. But I'm also a little concerned about, especially on the road in a tight ball game, who's going to be the go-to guy? Who's going to be the go-to guy that you can count on him to get the ball to right down there in the stretch when it's nut-cracking time, so to speak?
I think it's they've got to trust their post. I mean, if Estrella's got one of the sweetest half hooks they've seen over there in a long time, and the thing is, you've got to trust the post in order to set up that cleaner three-point shot.
Yeah.
But you're right, Mike. That time will tell. It may be more than one guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a potential strength when you have more than one guy. I mean, look at Houston's run last year.
Yeah.
When you're down to 2 guys, and that's generally what Tennessee's done is 2 main scorers, and they're kind of doing it this year. But I don't know. I think the key is their posts have got to keep getting fed, and then that's going to open up perimeter stuff.
And another thing, can they adopt Coach Barnes's philosophy of, like we talked about earlier, especially on the road? Can you slow that tempo down? Can you milk that clock? Are you going to be able to maintain your patience on offense and not get in a hurry, taking hurried shots?
Can you grind a team into dust?
Yes, exactly right.
And
you might want to bore people to death with 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but that's how they played, and that's what's been successful. And can they do that, or is this an entirely different ball team that's going to just have Coach Barnes pulling his hair out
what
on
helps
the road
too
game?
is it's the best offensive rebounding team in the country. So if you don't milk clock the first time, 9 times out of 10, those post players are getting a rebound and helping you out. But I do think having that inside-out game does help Barnes a little bit, because you could see him on the sideline the last 2 seasons when those teams wanted to chuck up threes and weren't hitting them, that he could have, wrung their neck when they got to the sideline. But having these posts and just trying to teach these guards to get it into the post is probably the biggest thing. But when you've got guys like Rodney said, like J.P. Estrella, Jalen Carey, guys who – Felix Akpar on the defensive end, guys who aren't afraid to take a hit and go to the free throw line or put the ball up, I think that's big in SEC basketball.
Yeah. And I like the fact he's going full court defense, because that means the team's got 20 to 21 seconds in the front court. And it makes teams take more difficult shots.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of these national teams that I've seen, I know you've seen, and other people around the table have seen, and we'll get your comments about those. But some of the teams that I'm looking at right now that I've seen early that's been impressive, that are sort of looking like teams that's going to make the run in March. And I don't want to leave the Vols out of there, because hopefully they'll be up and coming, but they're not on my list right now. But I've got Michigan, I've got Connecticut, I got Arizona, I got Purdue, I got Duke, and I got Houston. And if y'all see somebody else in there, we'll plug them. But, Rodney, these teams have been pretty impressive early, have they not?
Well, Michigan's scary. I mean, the way they've handled some teams that were good, I mean, really good, it's like, man, what kind of supplements are they taking up there? I mean, they've just been unbelievable, just running people out. It reminded me of the old UCLA teams that, well, they had a close one. They only won by 21, And now how will that happen in the Big Ten? Because that will be their grinder, and Purdue's obviously good.
The thing about Michigan, If the college football playoff committee was looking, they would be leaving no doubt right now. Can everybody agree with that?
I agree with that.
It's a good thing their basketball program's playing pretty good right now because their week and other stuff hasn't been that great.
How do you what do you think about Illinois? You know, all their players come from non-U.S. states, but no, overseas, a lot of Petroviches and those guys, and they look good. I thought they were very physical and good shooters and big.
Let me ask you, Rodney. You know, Barnes has always been big, and they've been successful in building that resume early. You know, for the NCAA seeding. Have they done well enough early to warrant that seeding like they have in the past? You know, they're kind of hanging their hat on Houston and Louisville right now, so to speak. 2 really good wins, but then you got Syracuse in there, and you've got Illinois in there, and of course Kansas. You know, were losses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but how do you feel? You feel like they're still in pretty good shape as far as seeding goes right now at this point?
Well, what type of seed are you talking about?
Well, I don't know.
A 1, 2, 3, or 4?
I don't know. I don't think they're a 1 or 2 for.
I think they're outside of a 4 right now.
I think so too, at least.
Yeah, and time's going to tell. They'll have a chance to work their way up to it. But I think playing that helps them. It really helped. I mean, the change from Syracuse to Louisville has been huge.
Yeah.
And the giveaway of the game with Kansas, and that was given away. Post players had like 4 touches in the last 10 minutes. That wasn't a rebound.
Right.
That game, you know, that's one they're going to look back on and say, man, that would really have improved their status. But that's what the long season's about.
Yeah. And we're talking about teams that can make a run in March. I think Louisville's a really good basketball team when they're healthy, because they were coming into Tennessee, they're scoring over 93 points a game. So when they can spread the floor and score it the way they were before they played Tennessee, and obviously they were missing a star freshman in that matchup, I think Louisville's a team that can give people runs, and Tennessee will have a win over them whenever it comes to seeding in March.
That's a good point. Rodney, back in our day, if you got beat 10 points, you really got killed.
Yes.
You know, you really beat the hound out of somebody. You killed them by 10 points. But nowadays, getting beaten by 10 is not such a bad deal. If you get beat by 20 or 25, and I guess that leads up to my next question, because teams have a tendency at times to get beat that much. And I'll hit Troy with this one. Is it getting like the pros? You know, it's sort of like the pros. You know, they can go out there and the last place team can beat the first place team on a given night by 20 points. Is college basketball sort of heading in that direction a little bit?
I mean, I think that there is just, again, I think it always goes back to just kind of the current thing of where we are in college sports with portal and NIL and stuff. Like, it has created more parity around the nation. And so, yeah, that stuff's going to happen where a team that you don't necessarily think is as good as everybody else, but like it's hard to find a team that doesn't have at least one player now that like can go, you know, like that doesn't really exist anymore. Most teams at least have one go-to guy that, you know, if they get hot, they can beat somebody. And that wasn't always the case 5-10 years ago, right? Like there were teams, there was Vanderbilt teams that absolutely stunk. Yeah, I like taking shots at Vanderbilt when I can, but you know, they had teams that had no good players on them. So yeah, when Tennessee beat them by 30, it was like, well, that was expected. Now it's not really the case anymore. Every team has a guy, and like Rodney mentioned, Illinois, like they know that they don't really recruit that well inside the state. So what did they do? They went and got a bunch of international guys who, I mean, if we're going to be completely honest, like the international development system of youth basketball is so much better than the American development right now that's not an awful path to go, and so it's working for Illinois. Like, hey, we're going to go get some guys who have been playing against grown men since they were 13 years old, and they can handle it a little bit better.
In some respect, Rodney, college basketball is better than the pros as far as getting players, because it's a free agency every year.
Oh yeah, there's no reserve clause,
and the money's being put out on the table.
College basketball.
We got football teams tweeting out contract extensions, and I'm like, what are we doing?
College basketball, goofy. The river is 1 mile wide, 6 inches deep. I mean, there's just a lot of teams. Now, right now, Michigan has shown by their resume
they're the best.
They're here, and then there's a bunch.
I really like
the
Connecticut.
rest.
Really like Connecticut.
We really got to stop calling it college basketball, college football. It's minor league.
I'll tell you what, at times it gets pretty hard on me, Tony, because I go to the grocery store and I look at my grocery bill, and then I think about Well, here's the way it was in college, Mike. You got room, board, books, tuition, and $15 a month.
Yes.
Yeah, laundry money.
Laundry.
$15 a month.
They're spending a lot on you back then.
Yeah. Of course, gas was 99 cents.
He was a big deal.
$15.
You weren't that big, Tony.
A month, and they would make a big deal out of it. The assistant athletic director would be in the dorm there at the athletic dorm for lunch, and he'd have his box with the checks in it. You know, and you'd come through there. I got your check, man. You thought you'd won the lottery.
Yeah,
$15.
Got my $15. Woo!
And now, you know, it's just hard to. It's hard to fathom when you've been on the other end. And, of course, that's been a long, long time ago. But
what would you have done if that check had 4 zeros attached to it?
In it? Man, I'll tell you what.
I
would have had a bigger lunch for sure.
He would have.
I would have gone somewhere else.
He wouldn't be here doing the show right now.
Well, he wouldn't have been a point guard. He would have been a center.
Yeah, he'd be in Vegas right now, living it up.
Guys, I'm not eating at the athletic dorm today. Let's head down to Regis and have lunch today.
Rumor had it at Kentucky there were a lot of handshakes going on.
Yeah, back in the day.
People were very appreciative of the way guys played.
There was a lot of
and I understand that some horse stalls, you know, were cleaned out by other people, but someone else got paid. But anyway, why stir that up? Right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you don't want to stir around.
You know, there was no. You know, I don't want to get on recruiting and all that much, but there was no limit on how many times a college coach could come to your house.
That's true.
Or call your house. You know, phone calls all night, coming by the door unannounced. You know, you get somebody from Alabama come in there and said, "Hey, I'm just in the neighborhood," and you live 15 miles from Indianapolis. You're just in the neighborhood. Okay, great. Come on in. I mean, it was. You talking about the Wild West today? Yeah. It was the Wild West back then. There just wasn't any money coming to the, big money like on the table that you got.
You got to be careful talking about the money now. You're still working on that extra year of eligibility, though. They'll take it away if they hear about
I've got one more year of eligibility because they cut my freshman year out. See, we had to play on a freshman team, so. You know, I'm due a year.
You didn't play.
I'm due
you didn't
a
play
year.
Any JUCO
I smell
years.
a lawsuit.
Did you play any JUCO years?
I don't. And as I said weeks ago, I'm not interested in starting. I just want to sit on the bench and put me in the last 30 seconds and just tell us to hold the ball. We're not taking a shot. You know, like they do today. That's all I want. You know? And I want 2 years. I want a redshirt year, and I want the other year, and I want the NIL deal to be 2 years.
Rodney, what was your NIL deal at Maryville College?
I got to scrape the football stadium one summer and clean all the football equipment. It was a good time.
Sounds
got paid for it. And
Man alive, what a deal.
I'm going to relate quickly. You're talking about recruiting. This is a Billy Donovan story. He was going out to see his some boosters that lived on the West Coast. And Mike Miller, of course, lived in South Dakota. And somehow he had to refuel his plane in his hometown. And somehow he ended up at the same McDonald's 2 or 3 times. And, you know, it's coincidental. It was a coincidental bump, no violations. But eventually the NCAA decided that wasn't going to work anymore. So that was a
Hey, we'll take a break here. When we return, we'll talk some college football playoffs. You're listening to the GoTeez Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensonTire.net. The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today: call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, and I'm here with Sports Page veteran Donnie Moore, Marcus Fitzsimmons, longtime sports writer, Tony Iruli, assistant football coach at Carson Newman, Caleb Giroux, Daily Times sports writer, and Rodney Nelson, former Maryville High School basketball coach and former player at Maryville College. And let's talk about the playoffs,
Hey,
football
Mike,
playoffs. Yeah.
Before we hit them, people didn't see during the commercial break, Santa stopped through here very quickly.
Wow.
And we have our 2026 GoTeez Sports Page shirts now.
Oh,
Picked
wow.
picked a good week to show up.
So go and talk football. I'm going to hand these out to the guys you're talking. So if you want to see what they look like, you can go on to Facebook or YouTube and watch and see as people get to pull these things out.
All right.
Beautiful.
Hey, last night
See if Marcus
Alabama
remembered my size.
took care of Oklahoma 34-24 out in Norman, and they will advance on to play Indiana in the Rose Bowl. And Tony Iruli, that first half, I'm thinking, 3-loss Alabama. This is exactly why they don't need to be here, 17-0. And in the second half, I felt just the opposite about Oklahoma.
It was really after the first quarter. They were down 17-0.
Yeah,
They came back and tied up. I mean, the play that changed it all was that interception, where the quarterback from Oklahoma threw into half coverage, and the corner. He thought the corner was going to bail on coverage, but he squatted that corner and threw right to him and took it all the way for a touchdown.
Yeah. Same corner that had the 99-yard pick six against Tennessee.
Correct.
5-minute span right there.
Yep.
Drop pass for a touchdown.
Yes.
Dropped right in the hands,
Yep.
going in 6
Yes.
right there for Oklahoma. Then they had right after that the muff punt. Same series.
Correct.
Alabama goes down and scores. And then in the next sequence, Oklahoma has the ball. That was the pick 6. And that 5-minute turned the whole game around.
Game over.
Game over.
It reminded me a little bit of Tennessee and Oklahoma's game.
Yeah.
And I think they were in shock because they got the ball back with about a minute left to go in the half, and they really just kind of ran out the clock. If they still had another timeout left to try to get in position for a field goal, and they just I think they were in shock and did not execute very good at the last minute of the first half.
Yeah, they didn't even take a chance on a Hail Mary right there.
Correct.
You never know what's going to happen.
And the announcers were saying, hey, they had a timeout. Let the clock just run out. I think they were just in total shock about everything.
I think at some point in the season, Oklahoma lost faith in John Mateer as its quarterback and didn't have another option. They just ran so much QB power, QB run stuff, and never really let him be a quarterback. And I just think there was some point in this year that he did something that they were like, we don't trust him to win games with his arm.
Right. And remember, it was only, 3-4 weeks earlier that Oklahoma went to Alabama and beat Alabama.
Yeah.
And it was a great win.
Tony, what surprised me was Oklahoma got up 17-0, and Oklahoma's defense has played so well.
Sure.
You just thought, you could put this game out of reach right here quickly.
Right.
I just didn't. I was really surprised the way Alabama had been playing because they didn't play very well the last month of the season. Didn't play well against Auburn. Obviously, didn't play very well against Georgia. Couldn't run the football. Did a much better job last night of mixing up the run and the pass.
Yeah, they did.
And
well, especially in the second half, they struggled
and beat that Oklahoma defense.
Yeah, they struggled.
Hill looked healthy, which was big.
And plus the running back from Alabama, he got healthy. I mean, he was injured near the end of the season, so he had that extra 2 weeks to recover. And he ran about a 60-yard run. That was the longest run, since about the second week of the season. Yeah. And so they came on. But again, the changing of the game momentum was that interception.
Yeah.
And that just turned everything, and they just lost confidence in themselves.
And
Oklahoma did.
Well, I thought the fourth down where Alabama makes it a touchdown.
Correct.
And you're doing that against that Oklahoma defense. And you compare that with the final minutes of the game where Oklahoma misses 2 field goals rather than take a chance.
Right.
Well, Oklahoma's kicking game, the punter shanked a few. He dropped it. He did a butterfinger job on it.
That cost him the game at the end.
And then 2 field goals. That guy hit 3 50-plus yarders against us, and he can't get it to the end zone.
He hit 24 in a row and misses 2 in a row.
The only one they missed before going to the game was the very first field goal attempt he made all season. And then he kicked 24 in a row and then missed the last 2. The one went right over the upright, and then the 50-yarder was just short. So.
Yeah. Okay, we got Troy. We got Miami and Texas A&M going today. Texas A&M's a 3-point favorite. They're playing in College Station. Your thoughts?
Take Texas A&M. I just don't. I don't think that Miami has shown the ability to consistently win big games, with the exception of Notre Dame.
They only beat Notre Dame because they didn't hand the ball to Jeremiah Love. Notre Dame lost that game. I wouldn't say Miami won it.
Yeah, well, there was a couple of reasons. First of all, they were going with Notre Dame was just starting a freshman quarterback. That was his first game. But regardless of all that, Miami, I'm worried about Carson Beck. He can throw some picks.
Yeah.
He's very susceptible to throwing some picks. So we'll see what happens down there, Texas A&M and Miami. But Miami's playing. They're one of those teams that's playing as well as anybody in the country coming into the playoffs.
Okay.
I wish, you got Tulane, you got Ole Miss playing in Oxford, you got James Madison, and you got Oregon playing. I wish that we were looking at Notre Dame and Ole Miss and Texas and Oregon.
I never want to see Notre Dame, so I don't.
I know you don't. I know how you feel, but you know as well as everybody else they should be. I know how all you Southerners feel,
Pennant.
but
He's on his own.
Take Pennant.
Putting
He's
all
gotta
that
do some
aside,
penance now.
if you had, and I said this last week, if you take the teams in the playoffs, all but 2 teams, and DraftKings, you know about them, all but 2 of those games, and maybe not those 2, the Irish would be favored in. They would be favored in those games, and they're not in the playoffs. I'm not saying the rules. I'm not changing the rules right here. I'm just saying I would have much rather seen Notre Dame and Ole Miss and Texas and Oregon because those are the 2 teams that I felt like were going to be out. Now, if you think Tulane and James Madison are quality games, watch them on TNT today. If you can find TNT, somebody's going to say, what channel is that? What channel is that? I don't know what they're doing on those channels. Maybe somebody explain it to me. But
I think it'll be a long day for James Madison.
I'm just saying this is I hope this never happens again.
Yeah. Well, I think what they need to do is when they make the decisions on the teams, on the 12 teams, they make that decision before they have the conference championships games, because that way, after those championship games, there was some confusion on who they're going to pick. Make that decision before the championship game, and so that's already out of the way.
The problem with that is that if I know I'm in the playoff already, I'm not playing in the conference championship game. Then I'm not getting hurt.
Yeah.
So
in a meaningless football game.
So you're gonna opt out.
Yes, I'm not going to play in a meaningless football game. We have bigger things to fry.
All right, he's done. He's done.
I'm just glad we did.
Anyway,
we just took your NIL away from
as I said before, Tulane and James Madison earned their way in here according to the rules.
Yeah.
Hats off to them.
Yeah.
Hats off to them, and
that's the rules.
And we'll see how it goes today.
I think that Tulane Ole Miss game could be interesting. Neither of them have a head coach really, and so that
and Tulane
adds
Tulane only lost by 35 earlier this year, so they could cut it a little bit.
Yeah. I'm just glad we didn't circle back to Notre Dame.
I know. I'm done. Tell you what. Hey, I'm going to.
Rodney, I'll sit here and
we're
talk
going to
about
go up north, and I'm going to invite each one of you up there individually, and we're going to have a show up there with all Northerners, and you're going to sit there in my place.
Rodney, I'll sit there and talk about Notre Dame all day.
Yeah, dear Lord,
hey,
I'm going to confession. I'm going to confession right now.
Real quick, it's Christmas. I want everybody to give a gift to a sports team. Think of a gift to a sports team or a gift that you would want to give to somebody that's in the field of sports. And we got to go quick.
Hey, Notre Dame, welcome to a conference. How about you suck it up and actually go sign up for something?
Green Bay Packers, no more injuries.
Notre Dame, please get back on the players so we can shut them up.
Yeah, I think we should congratulate. Should congratulate Vanderbilt on their best football season in program history, and hope that their fans learn to delete Twitter.
I'm going to give Vanderbilt one more year for their baby boy Diego.
Oh no!
Oh my God!
I'm going to give Florida a football coach.
Again?
Hey.
Yeah.
And in honor of Christmas, I'm going to give a gift to the college playoff committee, a lump of coal. A lump of coal.
More than just one lump.
Yeah.
Couldn't have seen that one coming.
Yeah. Get their lumps.
12 lumps.
Not anymore?
Imagine, if you will, that you hear a sound of a coach's whistle. Because I don't have it.
Oh, my gosh.
You should have told me. I got mine in my car.
I didn't know. I should have done that.
I always carry one on me now, Donnie.
Yeah,
Coach Provo Heron over here.
I couldn't decide whether it was it's a coach's whistle or if it's just the ringing in my ears. But anyway, the show is
Over.
Officially over.
All right, that'll do it for today's edition of the GoTeez Sports Page. Thanks to Aaron Ishmael back at Loud Media, our host, the Bluetick Tavern, and all our sponsors. Until January the 10th, this is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, wishing everyone Merry Christmas and good sports.
And that's the final whistle. Join us again next Saturday for the GoTeez Sports Page. The best in local sports since 1960.